When it comes to building wealth in crypto, most people have the same dream. They want to take a small amount of money, invest it wisely, and grow it into something life-changing. $100,000 is often the milestone people talk about because it feels like that perfect number big enough to change your life, but not so unrealistic that it feels impossible. And the good news is, in crypto, that kind of growth is absolutely possible, especially if you approach it with the right strategy, discipline, and mindset. So today I'm going to walk you through exactly how I would build a $100,000 crypto portfolio by 2025. I'll break down the principles, the thought process, the allocations, and the psychology you need to hit that target. This isn't about hype or chasing quick wins. This is about building something real, something sustainable, and something that can actually get you there within the time frame of this bull run. The first thing I want you to understand is that building a portfolio isn't about luck. Yes, there are people who get rich overnight buying some random meme coin that pumps 1,000%. But those are lottery tickets, not strategies. If you're serious about hitting six figures, you need to approach this with intention. That means balancing risk, diversifying smartly, and making sure you're exposed to the assets that have both the upside and the staying power to get you there. So let's start with the foundation, because every strong portfolio begins with the base layer. For me, the foundation is Bitcoin and Ethereum. These are the two giants, the blue chips of crypto. They're not going to give you the craziest returns anymore. You're probably not going to see a 100 times from Bitcoin at this stage, but they provide stability, they anchor your portfolio, and they still have significant upside. If Bitcoin goes from 50 or 60,000 to 150,000 in this bull run, that's still a massive gain. If Ethereum pushes from 3 or 4,000 to 10,000, again, that's life-changing if you're holding enough. So in my plan, I'm always allocating at least 40% of my portfolio to Bitcoin and Ethereum combined. That way, I know that no matter what happens in the wilder parts of the market, I've got exposure to the assets that institutions, hedge funds, and governments are watching closely. Once the foundation is in place, the next layer is large cap altcoins. These are projects like Solana, Chainlink, and maybe Polygon. They're not as big as Ethereum, but they're well established with strong communities, real adoption, and clear narratives heading into 2025. Solana, for example, has been making a huge comeback, with developers flooding back in and its ecosystem thriving again. Chainlink is powering the entire tokenization narrative, connecting real-world assets to blockchains through its oracles. Polygon continues to ink partnerships with massive corporations and expand its role in scaling Ethereum. These are the kinds of projects that might not be as safe as Bitcoin, but they're still relatively low risk compared to smaller coins, and they have room to run. I'd allocate maybe 20 to 25% of my portfolio here, because if Solana goes from $100 to $1,000, or Chainlink breaks into triple digits, that's where your gains start compounding fast. Now we move to the high growth section of the portfolio, and this is where things get really exciting. This is where you target the projects that could give you a 10 times, 20 times, maybe even a 50 times. I'm talking about mid-cap and small-cap altcoins, the ones building in areas like gaming, AI, privacy, and layer 2 scaling solutions. This is where the risk is higher, but the reward is also massive. For example, gaming tokens like Illuvium, Gala Games, or Immutable X could explode as blockchain gaming goes mainstream. Privacy projects like Monero, Secret Network, or even newer players like Darrow could skyrocket if financial surveillance ramps up. AI-focused tokens, which are still early, could benefit from the wave of artificial intelligence adoption happening globally. And of course, new Layer 2 projects on Ethereum or even competing ecosystems could give you life-changing returns. For this section, I'd allocate around 25 to 30% of the portfolio. This is your growth engine. It's risky, but it's where you get the kind of exponential returns that push your portfolio toward that 100,000 mark. But here's the key. Within that growth section, you don't just throw darts. You do your research. You look at who's building, where the developers are, what problems are being solved, and whether the project has actual traction. You avoid the coins that are just hype with no substance, and you focus on the ones that are solving real problems. That's how you separate the lottery tickets from the future winners. Now, no conversation about building a portfolio would be complete without addressing meme coins, because let's be honest, they're part of the culture, and they do create massive opportunities. In 2025, meme coins are still going strong, and while most will die quickly, the top ones, Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, and maybe a breakout newcomer, could still deliver incredible gains. I wouldn't dedicate a huge chunk of my portfolio here, but I'd keep maybe 5% as a fun, high-risk, high-reward bet. Because even though I treat them as pure speculation, sometimes that speculation pays off in a big way. And if you catch the right meme coin early, it can accelerate your path to six figures. So far, we've got a solid structure. 40% in Bitcoin and Ethereum, 20 to 25% in large caps, 25 to 30% in high-growth mid and small caps, and 5% in meme coins. The final piece of the puzzle is stablecoins. Yes, stablecoins. Having 10% of your portfolio in stables like USDC or USTT gives you dry powder. It lets you buy dips, it gives you flexibility, and it ensures you're not overexposed at all times. Too many people go all in and then get wrecked when the market dips. By holding stablecoins, you have the ability to buy strategically when others are panicking. Now that we've covered allocations, let's talk about execution. Because having a plan is one thing, but following it is another. The first rule of execution is dollar cost averaging. Don't try to time the bottom. Don't wait for the perfect entry. Instead, buy consistently over time. This reduces your risk, smooths out volatility, and ensures you're always in the game. In 2025, the market is moving fast, and if you sit on the sidelines waiting for the perfect moment, you'll probably miss it. Dollar cost averaging is boring, but it works. The second rule is to take profit. This is where most people fail. They hold and hold, convinced prices will keep going up forever, and then they watch their portfolio crash in the inevitable correction. Not this time. If your portfolio doubles, take some profit. If a coin you hold does it 10 times, take profit. You don't have to sell everything, but lock in gains along the way. That's how you ensure that your paper gains turn into real money. My exit strategy for this portfolio would be scaling out gradually as targets are hit, just like I talked about in my previous strategy video. Another critical factor is security. If you're building a $100,000 portfolio, you can't afford to leave it all on an exchange. You need to use hardware wallets, you need to practice safe custody, and you need to protect yourself from hacks and scams. I can't tell you how many people have built life-changing portfolios only to lose it all because they were careless with security. Don't let that be you. And let's not forget mindset, because this is just as important as the numbers. Building a $100,000 portfolio isn't just about what coins you pick. It's about patience and discipline. It's about resisting the urge to chase every new shiny object. It's about ignoring the noise on social media, sticking to your plan, and remembering that wealth in crypto is built in cycles. The bull run doesn't last forever, but if you play it right, you only need one cycle to change your life. Now let's address the elephant in the room. What if you don't have a lot of money to start with? What if you only have a few $100s or maybe a couple of thousand? Can you still hit 100,000 by 2025? The answer is yes, but it means leaning more heavily into the growth and high-risk side of the portfolio. If you're starting small, your Bitcoin and Ethereum exposure might be lower, maybe 20 to 30% instead of 40. You'd allocate more into altcoins with explosive potential. That increases your risk, but it also increases your upside. The key is to size your bets properly, diversify across multiple projects, and not put all your hope into one coin. You don't need every coin to 100 times. You just need one or two big winners supported by a solid foundation to push you to your goal. And here's something most people don't talk about. Building a portfolio isn't just about the assets. It's also about income. If you can add to your portfolio consistently with new money, your chances of hitting six figures go way up. That might mean setting aside a portion of your paycheck every month or finding ways to earn crypto through staking, airdrops, or freelance work in the industry. Every little bit adds up. Don't underestimate the power of consistent contributions. Speaking of staking and airdrops, those are another way to accelerate your path. In 2025, staking rewards are everywhere. Ethereum, Solana, Cosmos, and dozens of other networks offer yields for staking your coins. If you're holding for the long term, why not earn passive income at the same time? Airdrops are another hidden gem. By being early in certain ecosystems, using protocols and staying active, you can qualify for airdrops that could be worth thousands. We've seen it before with projects like Uniswap, Arbitrum, and Optimism. Don't ignore these opportunities. They can be the boost that takes your portfolio over the top. So to wrap it all up, building a $100,000 crypto portfolio by 2025 is absolutely possible. It's not about gambling, it's not about luck, and it's not about chasing the next hype coin blindly. It's about creating a solid foundation with Bitcoin and Ethereum, layering in large-cap altcoins with strong narratives, targeting mid-cap and small-cap projects with explosive potential, sprinkling in a small portion of meme coins for speculation, holding stablecoins for flexibility, and executing with discipline. It's about dollar-cost averaging, taking profit, securing your assets, and maintaining the right mindset. And most importantly, it's about staying consistent and not getting shaken out by volatility. Crypto is the fastest moving market in the world, and in 2025, the opportunities are bigger than ever. But the people who win aren't the ones chasing hype, they're the ones who have a plan and stick to it. If you commit to building your portfolio with purpose, manage your risk, and stay disciplined, hitting $100,000 by 2025 isn't just a dream, it's a very real possibility.